Texans beat up last week. Case Keenum was their quarterback. C.J. Stroud still in concussion protocol early in the week, so we'll see. They were missing Will Anderson, their really talented defensive edge rusher. They were missing some of their top receivers. If you're Jim Schwartz, C.J. Stroud, Case Keenum, what do you expect to see from the Browns defense relative to the Houston Texans offense?
When I look at the two quarterbacks, I think it comes down to just coverage preference, whether you're going to run more zone or more man. If you know you're facing Keenum, I think you just run more man, try to stifle things at the line of scrimmage. But if it's going to be Stroud, I think you end up trying to disguise things and go into more zone, try to confuse them, cause a little hesitancy. But no matter who the quarterback is, the recipe's still the same. Get pressure up front and get after it. You look at what they were able to do Sunday against Justin Fields, and that didn't result in the sacks that you would like to see, but you look between Miles and Sedarius, there were 18 pressures. That's the recipe right there. Speed everything up and try to force turnovers, because to win on the road, you're going to have to make some big plays and force some of those turnovers. And the defense, they know that. They know they got to get the ball back to their offense, give them as many opportunities as possible, because that's what it took last Sunday. And it's until further notice that's got to be the recipe.
What does it look like offensively? Texans defense is pretty good, so you're probably going to struggle to run the ball again.
Yeah. Joe Flacco throwing it 45 times. I think that's what it is. I think you're going to see a lot of the short game to compensate for the run. I think you're going to see a lot more David Njoku. I just think a lot of screen game, a lot of stuff that we talked about earlier, a lot of hitting the layups, hit the easy stuff, and try to scheme things open late, like the Marquise Goodwin shot. You know, we've been waiting to see that all year, and we finally see it to come to fruition. I think that's something that becomes more regular week by week as those two get used to each other. So, ball control, for the love of God, try not to turn it over, because that's the only way teams seem to be scoring on you as of late. But as we know, for this Browns team, it's part of it's all baked in. I think they're going to have one or two. Just got to hope that they're not costly and then deep in your own end.
And the other thing is, I would assume this is going to have kind of a playoff feel to it. The Texans, if they can find a way to get a win, they get a leg up, and this could be one of those tiebreaker games if the Texans aren't able to win the division. So it counts as two almost.
Yeah, you're going to be able to feel it. It's going to be a heavy game. And the Texans, you got to think they're playing at house money, because no one expected them to compete this year. So those fans are going to be juiced up. You're walking into their place. They're way more competitive than they thought they'd be. They'll probably be a little more juiced up if C.J. Stroud's gone, because that's their new hope, And so the environment will be raucous to play down there. And it'll have that playoff feel, which only hardens you for the postseason when you get to it. And the Browns have found themselves in that position a couple of times. Just think back to the Jacksonville game. Definitely had a playoff atmosphere. So just keep kind of rack these experiences up so that they pay dividends when you get into January.